Now it's on.
Okay. Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is the Town Center Committee meeting on Friday, March 29th, 2024, at noon in the Matthew Thornton Room at the Merrimack Town Hall. We have a fairly extensive agenda today. We're short a couple of people, and one of them is Karen Contos, who normally takes our minutes, so I will do my best to take the minutes as we go. Our first order of business today is an introduction of a new member. Tyrell Borowitz has joined us. He is asked for appointment to the town council, and I believe that request has gone in, was sent in, yeah. And so it'll be taken care of shortly, and he will then become an official member of this committee. He will replace Mike Redding, who left us earlier this year. Maybe you could spend a minute, Terrell, and tell us a little bit about yourself and your background. I know you're with the Nashua Regional Planning Commission. He's a Merrimack resident and an employee of the Nashua Regional Planning Commission. And he's interested in sidewalks.
Sure, yeah, professionally, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nelson. So I moved to Merrimack a couple of years ago, and like you said, work at NRPC. I have an interest in, being involved in the community, and, professionally at NRPC, I do a lot of work with communities with their, regarding their sidewalks and their roads and public infrastructure. I manage a bike and pedestrian counting program. So I just thought it would be a kind of a natural fit. I have an interest and just seeing how I could help benefit the town in what I can do.
Okay. Well, thank you, Terrell. Thank you for
thank you.
volunteering for this important job. We think it's important.
Sure.
We meet about every other month or so in this room at noontime. So, yeah. We'll look forward to your contributions.
Great, thank you.
Okay. As I said, I'll be the minute taker today, although I may need some help.
Do you want me to have Rhonda come up?
Would she do that? Yeah, sure.
Sure. All right. Go on.
Okay. The first order of business today is approval of minutes for February 9th, which was our last meeting. And I put them together, or Karen put them together, and I amended them. And then Karen is away this day. She couldn't be here. But there was one thing I'm just not sure about. And that's on page 2 of the minutes. And it's about the 7th line down, the 7th paragraph down in the minutes. There was a discussion of of adding a piece of sidewalk between the trailhead on Twin Bridge Road that goes into Twin Bridge Park and the new development of housing that's going on in that same area before you come to Tractor Supply. And we had budgeted that at around $100,000 to build that little piece of sidewalk, which would then connect the Twin Bridge Park to the new housing development that's going on there and to the Tractor Supply and all of the businesses that are in there. So that's what was being discussed, but from Karen's notes, I couldn't tell what was meant when it says, Finley said the town doesn't, but it has been discussed before. And so, Finley, you're here, fortunately, to clarify this for.
Would you read that again for me?
It says, Finley said that the town doesn't, but that it has been discussed before.
And we're talking about the connection from Twin Bridge out to where the new,
New housing's being built, yeah. Now, there's sidewalk associated with the new housing, but it doesn't go that far. There's a fairly short stretch of sidewalk in there.
right,
The-
I don't know how I would have related anything to that. Are you
Yeah.
sure it wasn't related? Sorry about that. Thank you. Sorry. Are you sure it wasn't related to the Church Street?
No, I'm not. Karen wrote these minutes, and she wrote that.
Because I think I did make comment on Church Street that we've not done anything with it recently, but we've had conversations about it in the past.
I'm gonna just take this sentence out of
That might be the best.
the thing for now, and just. In Church Street, we're going to have an extensive discussion on today,
Yeah.
I think. And anything else that anyone notices in those minutes, and if not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Yeah,
Yes,
so,
Justin.
Nelson, I just noticed that, in that, if you wanna call it paragraph, or paragraph prior to the Finley statement that we just axed, it says, Paul McCallie, but it's spelled Paul McCalla, so I just would
Yep.
fix that spelling. That's the only
Right.
thing, that's the only thing I see. Unless you had already said that.
I didn't say it.
Hi.
Hi, yeah, hi, Rhonda. Rhonda, thank you for joining us. We've started the meeting, but we've just done a couple small things that I can patch in. And we appreciate your help with this in getting minutes for this meeting. These meetings are important, and they do get filed in the annual report of the town, so it's important to have them correct, or as correct as we can get them.
No problem.
So, thank you. Do you have an agenda there? We're at the point of approving the minutes for February 9th. And we've just made some changes, and I would entertain a motion to approve them as they are.
So moved?
Who did that? Justin, thank you, Justin. Seconded by Finley. Is
Yes.
Finley second that?
I did.
You did.
I just never adjourn, that's all.
All,
Other things I'll do.
all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining?
I have to abstain.
Okay, that abstains. Okay, so it was Finley and Justin. Thank you. That takes care of item number 4 on the agenda. And now we'll turn to our old business discussions. And the results, first off there is the results of the Merrimack Winter Carnival. Nelson, and that's me, and Karen and Bill Wilkes also attended that. It was a pretty well attended, I'll say for the record, it was pretty well attended Winter Carnival. It was a windy, cold day, but it was sunny. So if you didn't move too much, but we did have a tent. The Park and Rec provided us a tent and a table and some chairs. The tent was quickly dispatched by the wind, but other than that, we had a good attendance and a lot of interest. We gave out a lot of brochures. The little brochure that we always give out at showing the trails and advertising the construction, the new construction that's going on the Sauhegan River Trail. So, are there any questions on that as to what it was? Nobody here was there, I guess. Did you show up, Dawn? No, yeah. The DPW was well represented. They had some trucks and big front-end loaders and big stuff that kids love to play on. So it was good. I think it was good publicity for the town, and we were lucky to pull off the weather that we did get that day, because it wasn't very comfortable sitting there.
Well, I think I had told you I wasn't gonna be able to make it.
You did,
Because
you
while
did.
you were fighting the freezing cold winds, I was basking in the sun, so, sorry, Nelson.
Oh, I'm
I would
sorry
love
to
to have
hear
otherwise
that.
joined you.
I hope you didn't get sunburned.
I did, no, I lather up. I
Okay,
thought about you, though.
okay. So that's basically the report. I think it was worth attending, and even though it was cold, it was worth it. We had good people out there. Next item on our agenda is the schedule and status of the Sahegan River Trail, which John wanted to speak to especially today, and we'd
Well, your
like.
name's first.
It is. I'd like to introduce Dawn Pamela.
That's awesome.
So the trail, we're moving along with construction. We've worked out a lot of the difficulties we were facing, which there were a lot of unknowns. When you dig up the earth, and you don't always know what you're gonna find underneath. So we had a lot of things we had to change and adjust, and we're moving forward, and we're in a very good position at this point. They're building a berm instead of a retaining wall. We've fixed the grading of the slope up to the fire station, so it's gonna look much nicer. They've fixed beam 6 and 7, which it's all part of the contract. That's on the east side of the Chamberlain Bridge. There were 2 beams that needed to be repaired, because that's what, if you know, the sidewalk on Daniel Webster was covered with big metal sheets. Well, that was because the sidewalk is not well under that section. So we're fixing that as part of this project, and in order to fix that, we need to repair the beams. And so that's what we've been doing. They're working on getting the trail itself through the canal area done, and we'll be starting the helica piles for the boardwalk going across the wetland marsh area probably in the next 3 weeks or so.
Oh, good.
And then we'll finish up with the sidewalk on Daniel Webster itself. But one, we need to wait until the paving plants open and a few other sundries. But yeah, so that'll be right after or while we're finishing up the helica piles and the boardwalk. They're gonna start on the high school side and work their way back to this side.
Okay. Did they pour the concrete wall? Is there a retaining wall that will hold up the dirt that's gonna go under the sidewalk where the steel plates are?
We did not have to pour a wall. We filled there were tanning pits that were there. They were concrete,
Yeah.
but given the age of the concrete, and we didn't know their bearing capacity, so we couldn't put your normal gravel in there and build it up. So we found this, what they call glavel. Okay, Glavel. And it comes from Vermont. It's a manufactured product. It has the similar properties to putting in fill, you know, our standard sand and gravel fill. However, it doesn't have a bearing capacity
It's gravel.
that's gravel.
Oh. Probably, it's very lightweight.
Yes, so,
And is this come as a liquid and gets?
no,
or does
it comes just like you see it. And then we compact that.
Oh, okay.
Crush it up, Tom?
Yeah, it gets crushed.
I've got to see that when you're done with it, because,
You could pass it on to
yeah,
him.
like, yeah.
So,
Wasn't Glavel a pitcher for the Braves who grew up in Billerica, Mass? Tom Glavel? I'm only kidding. This is really kind of, it's like pumice stone almost.
Yes, it's very lightweight.
Does water flow through this?
Yeah.
I think Keach was talking to me about this long time ago, as opposed to doing just asphalt parking lots.
no,
No?
that's something different.
Something different,
Yeah.
okay.
This is
really
fairly
cool.
new. They actually used that in the bridge that fell down in Pennsylvania.
Oh,
just
good, well, here
before
you go.
Christmas. No, they used it after.
After.
For the replacement. Sorry. So yes, but we had been investigating different avenues to be able to fill those areas up without putting the pour pressure, or, pushing against the sides.
Yeah.
So that material does that and accomplishes that. So we're up to the very top now. We're ready to be capping it, and we're actually gonna put some gravel on the very top,
Yeah.
just to,
And then
make
the
things simple.
asphalt goes on top of it.
well, yeah. It's a little more than that, but yes.
Will it be an asphalt sidewalk or the surface?
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
It might be concrete. I don't
Yeah.
remember off the top of my head,
Yeah.
and I don't have my plan in
Yeah.
front of me, so.
yeah.
I've been dealing with a number of different things, sidewalks, so,
Yeah.
lately. So, yeah, but yes, that'll be the last part. We've gotta be able to obviously move the foot traffic to the other side, and there's a lot of traffic planning that needs to go into all this. There's many moving parts when you get into this, and we're looking at sometime in June for completion of this project.
Good. Right.
We were hoping for April, but with all the delays we've had, it's been pushed to June.
Okay. Well, I think we advertised June on the day of groundbreaking, so I think there was a little padding in there. for-
Fortitude
yeah,
of looking
yes.
ahead.
Could you just mention what some of the surprises might have been? You talked of surprises when you dug
No.
in. You can't.
No. We had ledge. The headworks of the canal where the dam came in and where the openings were totally different because they were buried. We
Yeah.
couldn't see them, so we didn't get a full grasp for their height, their depth,
Yeah,
their width.
yeah.
So we ended up changing our trail to come through the other side versus the side we were planning to. The ledge has thrown a monkey wrench into it. There was problems with drainage. The river during the December storm actually came up higher, which was a scary thing. But, so that's why we're building this berm. And we took away the concrete wall that was on one side, but they've been using some of the stones that were there. What had happened when they took out the dam, if I back up, when they took out the dam, if you look on the far side of the river, it's all armored with these big stones,
Mm-hmm.
so that when the river comes down, if you know, it makes it
Turn.
two 90-degree turns right there.
Yeah.
When it comes and hits the 90 degrees, it has a lot of force. And what they do is what we call armoring, so that it protects the wall of the river so it doesn't move and erode. So some of the banking on our side, on the fire station side, they had just dumped a pile of stones. They had not spread them out. So they hadn't done what they did on the other side. So we have another 90-degree turn there. As a result, it took away some of the land that we were anticipating. So our walk was supposed to be out further, and we ended up pulling. So it was a number of different things that all happened at the same time. The beams were in worse condition than we knew because we could not get down to actually see them and inspect them. So we made anticipation. So
Yeah.
the other thing that happened was these helical piles were supposed to be, as per design, down 8 feet to be able to get to ledge. Well, we found out that the ledge is 15 to 20 feet down, so we've got to more than double the length of our helical piles, which we have not accommodated for yet, but we're working on making some adjustments so we can absorb that cost, which is significant. So we're trying to come
Well,
in
thank you.
at budget.
Thank you
and
for staying with
we're
the budget.
working.
Yeah, yeah. I know you briefed the council on that, and they're okay with what's going on here,
Yes,
Finley?
we've
Yeah,
gone along with the potential increased funds that will likely be necessary.
yeah,
So it's just
Good.
now getting the grant side of it to agree with those things is all we're waiting on. And I guess with everybody participating, all the engineers from all the sides,
yeah.
we were led to believe it was likely to happen, so.
Good. Okay, well, thank you. That's a good update, and I'm happy to see that it's coming along. Any other questions from the committee on that?
Yeah,
Justin.
Dawn, you said anticipated total completion date is June?
Mhm.
Okay, great. That's all, that's the only question I
Yeah.
have. Thank you.
The contractor has other projects that he needs to get to, so. He's been delayed a little bit, so yes, there is an increase in funding for the engineering, the design engineers, so there's 3 different pots of money that we're talking about. I'm trying desperately to keep the construction costs within the
Yeah.
guidelines, as well as the construction engineers. So there's 2 different engineers and the construction, so there's a lot of money, a lot of moving parts, a lot of people to be able to bring all together.
Okay.
And we meet every couple of weeks, and we're constantly on the phones and email, and we're all in the chain, so we're all aware of what's going on. This was, communications we felt was the most important on this job.
Yeah. Well, it's a tricky job, has a lot of, as you said, moving parts. They have a lot of people on them. Some days you see it's full of cars down there, people have arrived.
Well, you might find that they're underneath the bridge too, and you haven't been seeing them.
Well, I see their cars parked along, that's what I was counting, yeah.
Yeah, when I came by today, there was somebody hanging off the side of the bridge. I was like, oh my. Not sure what he was up to, but.
He didn't fall and hurt himself, that's the main thing. Let's, I'll move on then to the status of Church Street, which is, has been on our radar, on the Town Center Committee's radar for some time now. In fact, it was November 13th of last year. That's for you to have, because I don't know if you had that letter, but that was a letter that came, there was a letter written on November 13th of 23.
No. This letter here is dated November 18th of 2013.
13, that's where the 3 came from. So the fact that we did do some preliminary work up there, this is back in the time when Peter Flood was chairman of this committee, and he assigned me the job of going and finding out what needed to be done for the Church Street, because we recognized right away that Church Street was going to be an obstacle to building a sidewalk from the library up to Wire Road. And that's what our subcommittee did. We met with several groups. We met with the Highway Safety Committee, we met with the library, we met with the church, we met with the senior center people, all those that we thought were stakeholders, and the landowners. There's a few individual homes there on that street. We met with all of them at different times, and we talked to them and told them what we wanted to do. And that's summarized in that letter that Peter sent to the town council at that time. But this was back in 2013, and maybe it's been forgotten, but some of those things are still questions that need resolution, and we kind of put the ball back into the council court, because the council has the final say as to discontinuing a piece of Church Street. The recommendation in this letter is that Church Street be stopped off at the top of the hill, and so that that banking can be removed and that the sidewalk can be built from there across. And it's tricky because people are used to using that road, even though it's not a very safe road. I think everybody agreed with that. Just coming out of there, looking to the left and looking up the road, up Route 3 toward the north, is hard to see. There has been at least one accident I know of there where a car came down and hit a cyclist. And there may have been others which have happened since. That was prior to this letter being written. So Dawn, that was where, as far as I know, as far as this committee is concerned, nothing's changed from that letter. We're still recommending a discontinuance, but it's really up to the council that has to go forward with it, as we see it, to discontinue the road. That, is that clear? Yeah.
So, as part of the Wire Road
Yes.
re-intersection, along with the Pinenberg Bridge
Yeah.
reconstruction, which is a red-listed bridge over the Babusick Brook,
Mhm.
the state, we were working on the bridge, and we had the Wire Road intersection in the 10-year plan as part of the 10-year plan. And our person that's overseeing us at the state saw that we had both of these projects. They're within a half a mile or less, and they influence one another.
Mhm.
Therefore, he has pushed forward the Wire Road intersection project to correspond with the bridge project. In fact, today, we're supposed to be submitting the preliminary plans to the state to move forward into our next phase, which would be construction, not the construction, the final engineering on the plans. So we did preliminary, we're now going into final. And we want to be able to put out to bid by the end of this year, I believe, or next spring at most, and then be able to construct the bridge after that. So the dates keep moving on me, depends upon what day, but we're working to push forward to get that bridge done as soon as possible and to get the Wire Road. As part of that, we're gonna bring Wire Road down and make a 90-degree intersection with Daniel Webster Highway. In order to make it safer to get to the MYA, we're gonna put a set of lights there and to be able to go across the road and to get into the MYA on the back parking lot. And we'll have, crossing signals and sidewalks on both sides of the road. So as part of the Wire Road project, we've also tacked on the sidewalks, going from the library down to Wire Road, and then also from the Twin Bridge all the way up across the new bridge, past the MYA, all the way up to the Babusick Lake Road intersection, where there is also another set of crosswalk signals that we can be able to deal with. We cannot do the roundabout, as had been talked about, because of the distance between that intersection and the Babusick Lake Road. So it got determined by the engineers that it's much better to do a signal and a signal. That way, we can have synchronized signalization between Babusick Lake Road all the way down to Front Street, so that the cars, as they're going, should be able to hit the lights and go properly.
So one's not gonna turn red and one's not gonna turn green, right?
Right.
So, yeah,
Right.
thank you for that.
So you
I
can
appreciate it.
go through. Because right now.
And so these two projects are combined now?
Yes,
To do them at the same time?
yes,
Smart move,
thank you.
It's
yeah.
a miracle.
It is a miracle.
It is. Our new guy at the state is phenomenal.
Are you getting money from the state for this at all?
Yes, it's an 80-20 split.
80-20 split. They pay
80,
80?
we pay 20.
Boy, we don't get anything for anything we do from the state. I mean, it's all on us.
And the reason the town's
then
been so
again-
successful at getting that is because these guys have projects set up, ready to go, and
Yeah.
I think this is one of our last bridges to be taken care of, I think. And they should be lasting 75 to 100 years, so it'll be a long time
Yeah.
before they have to be revisited.
Well, we can have plans too, but the state voted to, like 10 years ago, to get rid of all building aid.
Building aid, yeah?
We used to get 30% building aid. In fact, when we built the middle school, we got 30% building aid on it. If we were to build a SAU office 30 years ago, we would have gotten 40%. But since that time frame, everything is just, we don't get anything. So that's good news.
So I'm actually combining on our agenda, G, the status of Route 3, Wire Road, and Babusick
Yeah.
Bridge, along with the Church Street, because I have to give you a little bit of background to understand why we're here today for the Church Street. So in part of this project, like I said, we're going to be picking up those sidewalks, which is part of the town center committee plan, was to do sidewalks on both sides of Daniel Webster Highway. So we're achieving the goal, although it be slow, we are getting there, piece by piece. In doing that sidewalk, we go by Church Street, between the library and Wire Road. If you look at the topography of that area, it's very steep, and it's very steep coming down Church Street. When we put a sidewalk in there, because we need to have the sidewalk at 5 feet, and then drainage, and it goes up from there, that makes that road in coming down extremely steep and beyond what we can handle for regular vehicles, especially emergency vehicles. So knowing that in the past you have entertained the idea, and you did an awful lot of work, because I do have all of the backup for all of this, what I'm asking today from this committee is that we take this November 18th, 2013 letter and move it forward so that when I go to town council on April 11th, that I can use this committee as a backup, because you've already done all of the base work for this. I can't see going back through all of this. We're gonna be notifying all of the abutters. I've also put in the letter that they can call and talk to me, or come in and see the plans, and I can explain it one-on-one, if they would rather have me do that, rather than having this committee bringing everybody in and going through all of that again. I've also had the fire chief and the police chief are on board with this. They will either be writing letters, or they will be attending the town council meeting in person to be able to advocate for the closing of Church Street between Route 3 and where the library entrance is. That's the area that we need, and then we'll have to work out, and I have not done this at this point, some type of turnaround at the top, and, accommodating whatever else was in the letter as best as we can underneath this project. There's some parts of this that we might have to do as a town on our own, if that's what you want to have stand, for moving that. So my request today is, can we move this letter forward for the town council meeting, so that I can speak to that at town council? We have your support.
Okay, so basically you'd like the same letter updated with a current vote of the council saying we still agree with it, is that?
I don't think you even need to update the letter. We
No.
can leave the letter, but
Yeah.
just have a new, maybe a small addendum
Cover
to the letter, cover letter, saying that we've taken a new vote since it's been 11 years,
Yeah,
and we would like to renew and say, utilize this with all of the conditions that were attached, and however you want to word it.
yeah, okay. How's the committee feel about that?
Yeah. I'm on board, yes.
There's nothing has changed, in the whole scenario. The slope hasn't gone away, and the road hasn't gotten any wider, so.
A lot of the
So,
A lot of the questions last time we discussed this, had to do with the turnaround, and so I don't know if that can be somewhat prepared because otherwise there'll just be, delays in trying to figure that out beyond that. So I don't know if that's possible, because I know it's a crazy setup up there. I don't know if there's the one house, the business to the north, it's gonna be a restaurant at some point. It's gone through the approval process. It's just a long process again. I don't know if they understood or if that was taken into account, that there's a possibility with the planning board.
they were certainly told that, but it was so many years ago, they've probably forgotten, but it was approved for a restaurant some years back. But with the knowledge, he was given the knowledge at that time that this was going to go away, that this road connection to Route 3 would not be there, and his parking he had to arrange for up above. Now, he dealt on his own with the senior center people and with I believe with the church, and got some kind of an agreement where he can use some of their parking at some of the time. And, but, we'll see if that's been many years.
Yeah.
However, the planning board let him build his restaurant, or approved
No.
his restaurant. So it's an approved restaurant, it's just very slow building it.
Right, I think the fire department's comment, I think was even more recently, but was that they can get to it any which way. They can go through the library, they can come around Church Street. It did,
Mhm.
for them, it didn't matter. If they had to get equipment up there, they were gonna be able to do it. It's the turnaround, not allowing people, the normal public, to go
Yeah.
through the library the opposite direction.
That's right, yeah.
And so those are things that, if we can have that kind of taken into account in some fashion,
That
That would be
was,
beneficial.
that was considered at the time. And fire chief and police chief were both involved in this,
right.
the creation of this letter, so they were all on board at that time, but they were, they were different people. It was so far back.
Hence
Yeah.
the request.
That's the request. So I would entertain a motion then to prepare the memo per Dawn's request to continue to advocate for the discontinuance of Church Street.
A motion from
So
me?
moved.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, Justin moved.
And that includes what Finley had said with the little extra details that you're talking about,
If it can be done.
if it can be done.
Oh, yeah, with details, okay.
Should I second it where it's coming to me?
I was thinking the same. Should I be able to vote since I'm
Maybe
asking
Matt
for
wants
it?
to
I can vote,
I'll second it.
okay. Okay.
And now I'm gonna vote, so I don't know what it matters. Like,
Okay, I've got a motion made by Justin and seconded by Matt. And the motion will basically reinforce this memo that we wrote back in November of 2013. And also ask Dawn to, do we want to add anything more to that? Or just, are you satisfied with that, Dawn?
I'm fine with that as long as you take a vote.
Oh, yes, I'm about to. I'm about to. Just want to be clear what everybody's voting for.
Yep.
So I'll call the question. All those in favor of the motion? Aye.
Aye.
And opposed or abstaining, so it was unanimous. Great. Thank you, Dawn, for making this happen. The next, anything else anybody want to talk about on that?
I have a question, actually.
Yeah.
So in regards to that restaurant and the sidewalk going up to Wire Road and stuff, it kind of looks like that there's like an anticipated parking area right there below the restaurant. No, that's
No.
not going to be parking space?
No, that's
Okay.
not approved for parking.
All right.
No, that's reserved for the sidewalk.
Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, that was my question. then.
We already have an easement going across there. When he did his site plan a number of years ago, he gave the town an easement for the sidewalk
Okay.
already in that area.
Great, thanks.
Okay. Good question, thank you. Let's see, what was the next item on, we'll get the Deer Street Town Center priority list. Well, I think we don't have much to talk about in that area right now. We have Tyrell, you should be aware that we have a priority list. We'll get you a copy of it, of what the missing links and how we would like to implement them. And
So I do have an update on that.
oh, good. Go for it, Dawn.
Last Monday, I believe it was Monday, I had a notification from the state. If you recall, 2021, I got a TAP grant for redoing the Chamberlain Bridge and the sidewalk down to 360 Plaza. 3,600 feet of sidewalk, filling in the areas the way we don't have it, and doing the repairs, replacements, or however they wanted to word it, of the bridge. The whole project, what I had asked for, somehow spiraled and grew without, and next thing I know, it was scheduled for 2032, and it was scheduled at $6 million, which surprised me. I don't know how this came, but I'll take it, because that's what we needed to do.
Yeah.
They actually combined two, I will say, because I had asked for the sidewalk going down to 360, and then I had put in another application for updating the bridge and putting a sidewalk on that side. And that's how they actually combined them and put them together, which is good, because we'll also get drainage in that area fixed.
Yeah.
I was notified last Monday if we would like, and I responded yes, but I have to go see town council on April 11th again. They would like to move that project from 2032 to construction in 2027,
Wow.
which is really nice, because
Yeah.
that means I have to do the engineering on that immediately and start that process, because as you know, it takes a long time to get through some of the permitting that needs to be
Yeah.
done, especially where they've put the bridge in this project and combined it together, which means I need to deal with wetlands and shoreland and
Yeah.
all sorts of good stuff.
Yeah, otherwise, we were pretty free of wetlands and
Which,
serious drainage
but since
problems.
we've just gone through that project on the
Yeah.
other side, we'll hopefully we should be
Yeah.
in better shape. But that was kind of unexpected news. And the other thing I'm trying to also push forward is the pedestrian bridge, because we need to get that out of there. We are having a severe problem and a very bad safety problem. People are cutting through our barriers thinking they want to get across that pedestrian bridge, even though we put up all kinds of stuff,
Okay.
barriers, signs, warnings. They cut them out, and they're walking up over, they're cutting through the bridge. They're just, it's not safe, and they don't realize that, and somebody is gonna fall in the river.
That wouldn't be nice.
It would not be
No.
very nice, 30 feet drop, no,
Yeah.
onto ledge and
Yeah.
whatnot. So, I'm also in the process, if I can get 5 minutes, to write a letter to the state to try to get them to bring that project forward, at least to get the bridge taken out of there.
Yeah.
One thing they are doing is doing the Effie Everett, so hopefully we can correspond timing such that we can be able to get that bridge out. I won't be able to have any replacement at this point, but at least to be able to get it out and get the hazard gone.
Yeah.
Don,
Yeah.
what bridge is this?
The pedestrian bridge, the Merrill's,
The
Murata,
bridge, it's up
the
by
bridge-
the
Okay.
turnpike.
Yes.
right below the high
pedestrian.
school.
The pedestrian
Thank you.
bridge
The
that's
pedest-
right below the turnpike bridge.
That got completely closed several years ago, and we've been fighting ever since, because we'll go out weekly and everything's cut, and, you're gone.
Is that like at the bottom where the Patterson property was and it goes
Yeah.
underneath
Yeah,
the turnpike?
yes.
Yes,
So you can access the other, I don't know how many hundreds of acres across the turnpike?
Yep.
Okay, so that was Keith Hickey, I got it from the city of Portsmouth kind of bridge,
yes,
right?
yes.
Okay, so that's
the
what we're
one.
talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's in a condition of being unsafe right now?
Oh, it's extremely
It has
unsafe,
been.
yes.
Well,
The
yeah.
understructure, the beams underneath
Okay,
are really bad. I mean, there's holes in them.
yeah.
It's hollow tube steel, and when they do winter maintenance on the highway, the plows will go by and it puts it right over on top of.
Exactly, and the
thing,
salt,
so-
the sand and everything just
Yeah.
Salt and sand.
erodes the hell
together,
out of it,
yes.
so.
So
Yeah.
I am in the process of trying to get that moved, at least a portion of it, so that, we can address that, and then we'll
Yeah.
have to deal with how we're going to put something new in there, what new is going in there, and that whole 9 yards. But
Yeah,
I've re-asked the question, can we repair it? And I was told, no, it's too far gone.
okay.
I saw a bunch of pictures of it, and not an engineer, but from a layman's standpoint, it definitely,
You didn't want to walk on it?
no, I don't know how you would repair, I mean, it's lengths of tube steel, so you're gonna end up replacing the whole thing anyhow.
Yeah, yeah,
So-
you'd have to put a whole new beam in there, and it'd be, probably be cheaper to start over.
And it's
Yeah.
not cheap, though.
No.
It's
No.
I think we spent 10 grand to get that brought over to Merrimack, and
I
and the
thought we
highway
got it
dropped in
free.
place
I
because-
thought we got that free.
I heard you got it free. I'm not sure
It-
about
it-
transportation. Maybe they,
Yeah, maybe that was the
UPS
cost, but-
charged you
Yeah.
10 grand for
I,
it.
I think it was CSSI again. I think he was working out there, made that connection for us. and-
Yeah,
But if it wasn't, I don't believe it was more than 10 grand. The bridge wasn't in essence free.
Well, we had to put the abutments in too, so there was
Did we pay?
cost to be able to put the
Yeah.
Did you put
abutment.
those in? Okay.
I believe so.
the
I
I
abutments
wasn't
were-
here at the time, but,
They weren't, the abutments were added for that bridge.
Bridge.
They were
Yes.
designed
Yeah.
for that
because
bridge.
there was nothing there before, so they had to have put something. They're not gonna just plop a bridge down on.
Yeah.
Without
No, no,
having
no.
a
The
foundation.
abutments were new. I
Yeah.
didn't know. It's because they widened Merrill's Marauders at that
That-
project that was going on.
Right.
When the
That's,
state took the crane and dropped it in place for
Yep.
us. It
Right.
was,
They were right there, and my point is, they're gonna be right there again.
yes. No, I'm with it.
If I can make
Yeah.
it work, it's-
And
My
and
goal-
there's been, we've had a little discussion, and I don't remember the detail of it, so don't hold me exactly to it, but there was talk about moving it farther upstream, towards the highway garage area, as I recall, but that was nothing, it was an agenda item, but it was, nobody's dug into that, but it was just a thought that might be better, to keep it away from the highway, because you have to roof it or something to protect it from,
we'd have better
Okay.
access on that side too,
Yeah.
because we could come right down from West Chamberlain. On the other side, we have no access. We can't get the equipment in there that's
Onto the-
needed to be able to
right, the
to
north
do
side.
that. So if we did go to the west side, that's a good thought, then maybe we should be looking at that.
The width, the span width would be greater than what it is currently, but it,
oh, that's not
Yeah.
good.
no, but they were talking, I think they were talking about $1 million is what they anticipate for that. So-
But at least you'd have access to be able to get the equipment somewhat closer there
Yeah.
than what you can right now, because right now you cannot get big equipment down.
No, you have to use it from the highway, like they did,
Mhm, Right,
yeah.
I mean, it's something else I'm working on, so we're,
And there's more to it than that. That bridge where it is now, on the south side of the river, there is no pathway that's safe and easy to get to. There is from there's some condo developments in there, but the road, the pathway going up to Chamberlain Road, which is a dead end,
mhm.
that's not a safe passage now. It almost needs to be, I mean, it needs to be built as a trail. It's, if you walked it, you know what I mean.
I have walked that,
You know what I mean then.
but we can overcome that side. The other side is not
Yes.
as easy to overcome, be
Okay.
able to have access.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. I hope we have some success there and, yeah.
I just, if Don could elaborate on the Chamberlain Bridge, if it's moved up to 2027, is that a rehab or a rebuild? We haven't had, we were told we had to have some discussions on that, so this makes it 5 years sooner.
TBD.
Okay,
I don't know that one spot they have rebuild, and the other spot they have reconstruct, and I've told them numerous times that we do not want to lose that bridge,
right.
that we want to reconstruct, and, that's what we're doing with this beam, these two beams that we've been doing. We've been improving the infrastructure
Yeah.
on those,
Yeah.
and we want to keep the look and the feel of the bridge, and we don't want to rebuild, because I don't want to stop 16,000 cars a day going through there.
No, and we've got lots of people who revere that bridge.
Bridge,
The
exactly.
Historical Society, and they've
Yep.
done a lot of research on it, and they've been making some videotapes of its history, and it's kind of a unique bridge,
Right.
being a stone arch, yeah.
Yep, and I don't want to lose it either. I don't know, that's
Yeah,
discussions we will be having once I open this up, but I can't talk anything about that until we get going in the process.
yeah. Okay, well, thank you, Dawn. That's good news, good update, and good information. We've talked about the links now. We've talked about the school master plan. I guess is the next thing we have not.
Yeah. The major update on that is, initially when we started talking about this years ago, we were talking about repaving O'Gara Drive and putting in a sidewalk. Well, years have gone by, and we're talking about the cornerstone of the whole process being the new SAU Special Services Building. It's on the ballot for this year. It's 8,700 square feet with a 2,000 square foot basement. It's $4.8 million. It'll house probably around 22, 23 people, individuals. Myself, the superintendent, assistant superintendent, the curriculum director, the special services director, everybody in the buildings will be under one roof. We have proposed a 15-year bond for that. The highest first year's payment, basically on a $500,000 house, is $12 because it's a half year's interest payment. Second year is the highest year. It's $47 on a $500,000 house. So for buck a month, you can have a brand new central office. We understand, it's a bond issue. The last time it was put in front of the voters, it was through 2013. It failed by a small margin. It has to get 60%. So that's the priority for the district. At some point in time, very soon, we're going to have to do O'Gara Drive, and then when we do that, we'll do the sidewalk. We're going to leave all the guardrails as they are. The cost of that was getting a little bit outrageous to try and replace that, to try and bury the utilities. It wasn't really a prudent expenditure of public funds at this point in time. So we'd like to do the central office piece, see if we can get that passed. That price includes the demolition and removal of both the current SAU and the special services building. The special services building would be acting as a parking lot for the new SAU. And the old SAU, the greenhouse as we call it, right now we haven't planned parking for there, but because I don't want to put another piece of asphalt that's right next to the high school. I think we'd kind of prefer to utilize that as some sort of green space that maybe some of the high school kids could use if they wanted to ever eat their lunch outside on picnic tables or something. It's a kind of a nice area once we level it all out. And plus, for any construction or whatever, there's lots of gas lines down there. That's kind of one of the main feeds going into the building. It's one of the secondary feeds. So we'll see what happens, but everything hinges on what's going to happen on April 9th, and we'll keep you guys posted.
Good.
That's about it.
Thank you. Any questions for Matt? And we can go on. And the videotaping, anything new happening there, Justin? This is usually Nicholas's chance to shine.
Right. So as far as the status of the Town Center Committee Facebook page, we have shared photos from the Winter Carnival, which sounds like it was windy but a success. So those are up on the Facebook page. As far as any kind of recording or media to put out, the media division's in touch with Dawn. Dawn's letting us know any kind of progress with the big project right now, which is the Sauhegan River Trail. So if there's anything down there that we can do or kind of capture, she's in touch with us. Right now it sounds like they're just trying to get through some things, and it sounds like it's going fairly well. And once there is something visually appealing as far as putting a video project together, whether it's construction and stuff and kind of final product, she'll let us know, and we're in touch with her to kind of get that going.
Yeah.
Outside of those two things, I don't really have anything else to report as far as that goes. We're always, if anyone ever has anything that they think should be posted to the Facebook page, just run it by Nick. He'll whip something up. Any video project ideas outside of this big one with the Sauhegan River Trail. Also, just you can run it by us, and we can work with whatever you guys want to do. So.
Yeah.
I have
Okay.
a thought. Can we have media do something about the safety conditions of the bridge, encouraging people not to break the barriers?
That's a great idea. Yeah. Yep.
I was
I'll write
thinking the
that down.
same thing as you spoke. That was a good idea.
Mine smells
I've got an idea too. So in May, it is National Bike to School. There's a National Bike to School Day. And I was thinking about, I've got a 5-year-old and she goes to kindergarten, so I was thinking like, oh, well, let's make that a priority and see if we can get some of her friends and neighborhood kids doing that. So I don't know if that's something that you'd
Yeah,
be
that
interested
sounds,
in
that
promoting.
sounds great. You say May?
Yeah,
I'll
it's
check it
in-
out. It's National Bike to School Day. I
Bike to
think I'll be
School
able
Day,
to,
yeah.
we can hunt something down
I
on
think
that
I
and see
put it
if we
on my
can
calendar, so.
work with that. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, it's May 8th. It's
Okay.
Wednesday.
Perfect.
Yeah, we usually do the National Walk to School Day, which comes in October every year. We make a
Right.
little issue of that, but this would be more interesting perhaps.
Yeah,
Just as interesting, I would say.
Just as
Yeah, yes.
interesting, yeah.
Yeah,
I think,
Equally interesting.
I think I've heard about it in the past, but we haven't done much to promote it, so we can do everything on the school side to see if we can get some interest, especially from the principals and assistant principals to kind
Yeah.
of promote this. If kids choose to do that and make
Yeah.
accommodations, I'd like to, if we could, especially if any are crossing Babusick Lake Road at J Muse, I'd like to get some police presence out there to help them out if they're doing such. But
Yeah.
we can definitely take a look at that. I think it's a darn good idea. We used to do that when I was a kid, but we didn't call it anything. We just called it going to school.
Uphill and freezing cold, snow on the ground both ways.
Right.
Yeah, slush.
Funny how times have
ways.
changed.
What day did you say, May what?
It's May 8th.
May 8th?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Taro.
Yeah.
So that's anything else under that?
I think that just about covers
That's
the
good.
media for
And,
this month.
and we've already covered the status of the Wire Road Babusick Brook Bridge status. And so that brings us to the end of our old business, and nothing under new this week. And except to set our next meeting date.
Well, actually, I've got another thing to say. So I do as I said before, I do the bike and pedestrian counts for NRPC, and so before this meeting, I actually just set up our counters at 2 new locations, one at the entrance to Wildcat Falls, and another at the end of that Twin Bridge trail that goes to Twin Bridge Road. The idea for that one was like, okay, they're building those new housing apartments and stuff there, so wanted to get a before count and then come back after those had been completed and see if anything had changed there, and then when the trail under the Suhigan Trail under the bridge finishes, it'd be
Yeah.
great to count there and at Wildcat Falls and see what those
Could
numbers
you
are
give
together.
me a little email with a memo with what you've just said?
Yeah.
Where those locations are? And
Yeah,
I'll
sure,
get them
yeah.
into our minutes and we'll get them distributed around.
Yeah, definitely.
What's the date for that, or?
I just set them up today, so.
So they're set up now?
They're set up now, and they'll be out for 2 weeks.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so maybe, yeah.
And then they'll compare, he wants to compare
Yeah,
after the housing is complete.
Yeah, and I can come back, in the summer after the trail's done or later, and
Yeah, I think once the trail opens, we want to see what that effect is. I think we'd like to measure the traffic into the new Sohegan River Trail.
Yeah.
When it's,
So, yeah.
when it opens up.
yeah.
And that will be,
Yeah, and then once that data is collected, it'll be, it's public facing. There's a map on our website that you can go on and see all the count locations and see the reports and the data and all that
yeah.
stuff.
Okay, if you've got something that you could send me, I
Sure.
could get it distributed, at least to this committee and maybe others who would be interested. And start to measure some of the good results of our efforts here.
Yeah.
Okay. We were going to talk about next meeting time. do we have any, March is, April is upon us. And, do we have anything special coming up in April or early May that we want to talk about before it happens, or,
How about May 3rd or May 10th?
all right? Say May 10th?
Looks good on my calendar.
Okay. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Then the only other thing would be adjournment.
So moved?
Second.
Moved and seconded by Justin. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or abstaining? Okay. So we've got